talk, yeah. From the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Another down. Sport Talk. What team you ready?
Let's go! Unfiltered Radio Doc. If you want to rep the squad, I need you to smash that like button right now. Hit the subscribe button and share the channel with a couple of friends, because sharing is caring at the end of the day. And if you want to even take it to the next level, here comes the giveaways and even more exclusive free merch every time it drops. Plus, Pigs and Punters gets access to special live streams where you won't find anywhere else, guys. Trust me, you want in, because you know all about the sex toys if you are a big pig pundit. Pigskin pun, I should say. What's up, guys? Before we do get carried away, guys, we got to welcome some people in the show. We got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend into the show, the old man of the whole, the old head, Old Man River. What's good, brother? What's good, man? And Old Man River, guys, broke us with some breaking news here right as the show started. And he said that Jim Marshall has passed away. So, guys, Jim Marshall was a part of the Purple People Eaters back in the early, 70s and late 80s, late 70s into the early 80s. He was a great player, and he was one of the people on the front four that definitely had a very impact of like what a lot of us know what the NFL is today. So, we got my man Alpha Rob in the chat as well. What's up, Alpha Rob? Hope you're doing good, brother. Hope you're doing good, man. Guys, this is a live interactive show, so be sure to get the comments. Slow it down, baby. Slow it down.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
I know we live in a world where you can't practice when it's over 95 degrees. I know we're in a world where you have to take water breaks every 15 minutes if it's above 80 or above 91 degrees. I understand we have to have heat exhaustion classes. We have to do CPR tests. We have to do all this stuff. But understand this, Old Man River. No matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, if you're grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth or had to work for everything that you've gotten in life, NFL offseason is tough. Period. The grind sucks, the heat sucks, the practicing sucks, and having to work your ass off just to potentially get a field to see on the field for a preseason game 1, 2, or 3, it is tough. It is tough. So you can call them soft all you want, but at the end of the day, even at the high school level, even at the college level, even at the CFL level, indoor football level, the summer grind sucks. It's period. Simple as that. Let's Go Sports in the chat today as well. He says, yo, what's up? Let's Go Sports. What's up, brother? And we got another pigskin pun in the chat.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
We got the woman, the myth, the legend herself, Laura Johnson Hedrick is in the chat. What's up, Laura? And I just want to give you a big shout out and say, go Pacers. If you guys are not following the NBA at all, I don't follow the NBA closely as I should, but the Indiana Pacers are my home team because I live an hour from Indianapolis, and Laura lives in Oklahoma City. She's saying, go Thunder. I'm saying, go Pacers. Go Pacers. How about this, Laura? The loser of the finals has to shave their head. So if the Thunder loses the final, she gone, Laura. If the Patriots lose the final, I'm gone too. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Let's Go Sports says Daniel Jones is the next Sam Darnold. I don't know. Let's Go Sports. We will talk about that momentarily, but we got to start off at the very top. We got to start off the very top of today's show, and we got to talk about the one and only CJ Stroud. So as you guys know, as of right now, CJ Stroud is dealing with, quote, a injury. He is dealing with a shoulder injury, and the Texans guys are being very, very cautious. So to start today's live, raw, uncut NFL talk, we got to answer this question. Are the Texans being cautious, or is there more going on with CJ Stroud's shoulder than what they're letting off to be? The reason why this is a question, guys, the reason why we're talking about this, because I want to flash back to last season a little bit. I want to flash back to CMC. When Christian McCaffrey and the San Francisco 49ers were rolling out, they said, if this was a regular season game, CMC would be playing. The very next day, the man was out there in like Germany trying to get double Achilles tendonitis fixture or something. He ended up playing like 6 games last season, right? It was just crazy, right? But let's dive into this. Let's talk about this, guys. CJ Stroud hasn't thrown a pass yet during any media availability during OTA sessions so far this season. That's not a rumor. That is straight from the field. That is what we have seen, and that is what we have knowledge. What we have seen is CJ Stroud handing the ball off in workouts. And when it comes to actually slinging it, nothing, nada, zilch. We haven't seen him throw the football yet. Now, head coach DeMeco Ryans addressed it, saying that there are no concerns and chalked it up to just general soreness. He even doubled down, saying they're just being precautionary with their Pro Bowl quarterback. Sounds reasonable on the surface, right? But this is where things start to feel a little murky. Flashback to CMC, like I just said. When asked if CJ Stroud would throw next week at the Texas mandatory minicamp, Ryans didn't answer. When asked if CJ Stroud had any offseason treatment done on his shoulder, again, no answer. Just a vague, he'll be ready when he's ready. So what's going on here? Look, guys, CJ Stroud took an absolutely beating last season. He was sacked 52 times, second most in the entire league. And when it came to pressure rate, 38.6% of his dropbacks. So a third of the time when he was dropping back, there was somebody in his face. Again, second most in the NFL. And that playoff loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, my Kansas City Chiefs, he was sacked 8 times. Not 5, not 6, not 7, but 8 times. The man was sacked 8 times with the Kansas City Chiefs in that postseason game. So of course he's sore. Of course they're being careful. But this is just not soreness. Why dodge the simple questions? Why not say, yeah, he had a little treatment, no big deal. He's on schedule. Instead, we get a shoulder shrug. I don't know. It is what it is. And this is where the plot thickens. Houston is not sitting on his hands. The Texans blew up that offensive line. Gone. Pro Bowl left tackle, Laramie Tunsil. Gone. Left guard, Keenan Green. And gone. Right guard, Shaq Mason. That trio made 41 combined starts in 2024. In their place, Cam Robinson, Trent Brown, Laken Tomlin, Ed Ingram. They even traded up in the draft with Minnesota to draft a tackle as well. Irsay, right? That's not a little touch-up. That's a full O-line renovation. On top of that, they canned their offensive line coach and their offensive coordinator. Offensive line coach, he gone. Chris Staggers, he gone. In come Cole Popovich and Nick Chanley. It's clear, guys, DeMeco Ryans isn't letting history repeat itself, especially not with CJ Stroud's health on the line. So, guys, where does this leave us? Yes, I understand it is June. We are a long, long way from week 1. The Texans say there's no concerns, but no matter how you frame it, your franchise quarterback is not throwing during OTAs is something. Especially when you're coming off a season where the kid spent half the time getting peeled off the turf. The Texans have Super Bowl aspirations in 2025, and they want to make that leap. They need CJ Stroud healthy. They need CJ Stroud upright in 2025. Everything they've done this offseason, from the roster to the staff, points to that being the plan. But what happens if the shoulder issue just isn't just general soreness? That's the $1 million question. So, guys, let me ask you this question in the comments down below. Do you guys believe DeMeco Ryans when he says there's no concern with CJ Stroud? Or should Texans fans be a little bit worried heading into this season? Guys, this is a live interactive show. We're live every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here at youtube.com/manhour. But let's hear your thoughts. Let's hear your thoughts. Laura says, but we'll come up with something in our pigskin chat. Want to see what's the bet is become the pundit this year. There you go. There you go. So Laura and I got a Pacer Thunders bet going on. Let's do it, baby. Alpha Rob says they didn't say what happened to his shoulder. You know what happened, Alpha Rob. He got his ass whooped last season. That's what happened. He may have got a rotator cuff surgery. He may have torn a bicep. He may have strained a tricep. He may have hurt that AC joint that Brock Purdy did, right? When you repeatedly get your ass kicked over and over and over, what was it? The second most sacked, what was it? 56 times, 52 times last season? It's going to hurt, baby. But Old Man River wants to be old wise man here. Old wise pigskin pundit.
Pigskin pun.
You want to be
Get
the
you
old
some.
wise people. They're just being cautious. They're just being cautious with CJ Stroud. If they're being so cautious, old man River, come out and say, yeah, he's sore. Yeah, it's June. We got 3 months till the season starts. Suck it, baby. But that's not what they did. Like, I don't know what's wrong. It's just general soreness. He slept on his shoulder wrong. The man's like 25 years old. You do not sleep wrong in your bed. Now, if you're my age, if you're old man Rivers' age, if you're Laura's age, if you're real McCoy's age, Mel and Mike, Alpha Rob's age, we sleep on our pillow wrong. We're going to wake up walking like this for a couple days. That's just the way it is. But the man's in the 20s. General soreness. Get out of here. Alpha Rob says soreness, that playoff game was in January. He should be healed by now. Facts, Alpha Rob. Alpha Rob, just drop your mic, man, and walk away. That game was 6 months ago. Let's say 5 months ago. My bad. The game was 5 months ago. If you are still sore, something is wrong, my man. If you are still sore 5 months later, it was just not a general bruise. Something tore, something strained, something is wrong. Old Man River says, if they say it takes more time to heal, follow the science. Then say that, Old Man River. If he is healing up still from 5 months ago, say that. Like, hey, his shoulder's effed. He just needs some more time to rush. Hey, we're 3 months away. We're still 3 months away from the season. Like, listen, let's pretend I'm D'Amico Ryans. Old Man River says, hey, we noticed that CJ Stroud hasn't been throwing at practice. Is something wrong with him? Look, man, the guy got effed up last season. He got sacked 52 times, second most in the NFL. He was pressured damn near 40% of every drop back. He needs some time to heal. He needs a time to realize, like, hey, we got a long, brutal Super Bowl push next season. We're not going to throw him out into the wolves. That's what CJ Stroud should have said. That's what he should have said. But Real McCoy's like, whoa, slow it down, baby. He got a torn rotator cuff. And that very well could be. Because a torn rotator cuff, as you do, you get mobility back, right? Pretty much right away, just as much pain tolerance as you can. Me, a former recovering rotator cuff surgery twice now, right? You are back to about 80% about 5-6 months in. It's been about 5-6 months since that playoff game. Now, you are not fully ready to go for about 9 months. Let's just be 100% honest there. So if that were the case, real McCoy, you might be onto something, brother. You might be onto something. Laura says he took a beating last season, hands down. He needs better protection, and that's why they let Laramie Tunsil, the most overrated offensive tackle in the league, go. They're saying, hey, go away. Go away. And then Darcy's in the chat. He says, I watched you saying the Packers win the division. So, pigskin pundits, everydayers here. Did I ever once say that the Green Bay Packers were going to win the division this season? In my way too early win-loss predictions, Darcy, that we did in the month of May, I did not say the Green Bay Packers were going to win the division. So you can LOL all you want, brother, because I did not say that. I did say the Green Bay Packers were a really, really good team. I did say the Green Bay Packers were going to win 10 games. But if you want to come in here and talk your shit, back it up with some facts, brother. Because I picked your Detroit Lions to win the division at 11-6. I picked your division, your Detroit Lions to be a top seed in the NFC this season. With that being said, tune in tomorrow as we break down the NFC playoff. Way too early picture, right? We did the AFC on Monday. We're doing the NFC tomorrow. So you see how your Detroit Lions did, brother. You will see how I did not pick the Green Bay Packers to win the division. You will see how your Detroit Lions got a home playoff game in the first round. Might be one and done again. Like I said last year, like they were going to be. But hey, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just stating facts, baby. Just stating facts. Laura says, tear of a rotator cuff is terrible. It is terrible. It is terrible in my best Charles Barkley voice. I've had mine done twice. And since football season started with us about 2 weeks ago, it ramped up last night, and I'm throwing the ball to my players on the defense. My arm sucks. My arm still hurts. My arm still hurts. All right, guys. So Darcy said he watched a reel of me picking the Green Bay Packers to win the division. Sorry, win the it's the division. Darcy, I don't know what you watched, brother. So why don't you come back tomorrow, 9 p.m. East Coast time, right here at youtube.com/manhour. And when we break down the top 7 seeds, and I recap those, you will see who wins that division. And Laura says, sit down, boys. The Vikings going to win it anyways. Laura, I got your Vikings winning 6 games, girl. You need to sit down and find yourself in the corner where the Vikings fans belong. You guys had your little run last season, so go back to that corner and sit down and understand that the Vikings fluke is gone. You shouldn't have let Sam Darnold walk away. You should have traded J.J. McCarthy when the stock was still high. But hey, don't shoot the messenger, because I know you Vikings fans will. Because I know you Vikings fans want to get all riled up. Oh, Buck, you had us at 7 wins last season, but damn it, we got 14. Congratulations. And after then, you won those 11, 12 games in a row. I was like, yeah, you guys are doing good. You guys are doing great. But you know what? Still going to be one and done in the playoffs. No, we're going to the Super Bowl back. Super Bowl back. I stood here and said, hey, you guys are going to be one and done. Just like the Detroit Lions, going to be one and done. And what happened last season, folks? What happened? You even played at a neutral site game and still got beat. The Detroit Lions had home field advantage, and they still got beaten. Not only did the Lions get beat, they got their asses whooped. They said, Commanders, come here and take my candy. But yeah, that's what happened last season. So go to the corner, Darcy. You're in timeout. Collect your thoughts. Laura, you go to the other corner. You collect your thoughts. And when you guys understand that you guys are not very good, when you understand that you're on this level and the Chiefs are on this level, then we can have a civilized conversation. I'm just playing, baby. I'm just playing. It's off-season talk. It is slow. But you know what? It is what it is at the end of the day. It is what it is at the end of the day. But for the rest of you guys, the rest of you level-headed folks like Real McCoy, saying that the Texans are going to go to the Super Bowl, I'll let him come to the middle of the floor. I will let Real McCoy come to the middle of the floor and talk about his Texans because we are legitimately concerned about CJ Stroud. It could be a torn rotator cuff. No, I'm sorry, Real McCoy. You are not a Texans fan. That is Mellow Mike, right? Mellow Mike is a Texans fan. Real McCoy, I don't know who you're a team of. My bad. I didn't mean to cope you into that Texans realm there when clearly you are not. But guys, let's move on. Let's move on to the next topic. And we're going to talk about Jonnu Smith and Pittsburgh Steelers. Guys, the question that we need to answer is, should the Steelers be going after Gabe Davis, or should they have done whatever it took to reunite with Jonnu Smith with Arthur Smith? That is the question. Guys, let's get into this. Now, we got a fresh update out of Pittsburgh, right? And it looks like the Steelers are not expected to trade for the Dolphins for tight end Jonnu Smith, even after they engaged in conversation with Miami. Instead, the Pittsburgh Steelers are shifting its focus to and will now host free agent receiver Gabe Davis for a visit this week. So, guys, what has changed? Let's start on the Jonnu Smith side. The connection there made perfect sense. Arthur Smith, Jonnu Smith, reunited. It made perfect sense. Obviously, Arthur Smith used to coach Jonnu Smith when they were back at Tennessee and Atlanta, and now potentially Pittsburgh, but it's not going to happen, right? The familiarity was real. The system fit was obvious, and Jonnu just had a record-setting season in Miami with 88 receptions for 844 yards and a trip to the Pro Bowl. He broke a franchise record for tight ends in basically every major category. That's just not solid. That is elite. But money talks at the end of the day. And Jonnu Smith wants a reworked deal. He is due $4.8 million in 2025, but clearly he thinks he's worth more. And with those numbers that he put up, he's got a case. Let's just be honest. But according to his agent, Jonnu's first choice is to stay in Miami. This is where he lives. This is where he went to college. And this is where he just had his best season of his career. So it seems like the Steelers it seems like the Steelers explored the fit, maybe even kicked the tires on a reunion, but ultimately backed off. And that brings us to Gabe Davis. Now, this is interesting. Gabe Davis is only 26 years old. It still has a lot of upside, but there are some major question marks with Gabe Davis. After signing a 3-year, $39 million deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars, he only made it to 10 games in 2024 before tearing his meniscus, which ended his season. He finished with just 20 catches for 239 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a steep drop from his Buffalo Bills days, where he nearly averaged 17 yards per catch over 4 seasons, and he was known for his big play ability. So the Steelers are building on a bounce back, plain and simple. They need receiver help after trading George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys this offseason. Right now, the team is looking for someone to stretch the field, win some one-on-one matchups, and open things up for their quarterback, whether it's Will Howard, whether it's Mason Rudolph, or hell, maybe even if it's Aaron Rodgers. Is Gabe Davis that guy? That's what this visit is all about. Guys, if he's healthy, he brings a deep threat capability and playoff experience. But that injury risk is real. And the inconsistency, even before Jacksonville, there were stretches in Buffalo where he simply just disappeared. Meanwhile, passing on Jonnu Smith leaves a lot of fans wondering if the Steelers missed an opportunity to add a high-efficient chain-moving tight end, especially one who already knows the Arthur Smith system like the back of his hands. So, guys, did the Steelers make the right move by pivoting to Gabe Davis, or should have they made a serious push to land Jonnu Smith? That is one I want to know, and that is where we're going to go to the comments. But before we get into the comments, guys, remember, hit that like button, hit the share button, and, of course, subscribe, because we are live every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here on said platform. Now, this is a live interactive show. Let's see what the people are saying. Old Man River says, and that Super Bowl tush push shifts... Not even going to entertain that. Coach Rowe, where you at? He is the franchise. So Jonnu Smith is a franchise in Miami? You're saying Jonnu Smith is worth more than Tyreek Hill? Worth more than Tua? Worth more than Jalen Waddle? You're saying he's worth more than Bradley Chubb? Slow it down, baby. You're saying he is worth more than Achane? Bro. I understand you like to partake in extracurricular activities. I understand that you like to sit back in your recliner, put the man hour up on the blue tube, and kick back and have a good time. I'm all for that. But right now, you need to sit up, Old Man River. You need to sit up, and you need to collect your thoughts. You are saying that Jonnu Smith, yes, he had 884 yards last season. Career highs, franchise highs, whatever. You're saying he is more valuable than Tyreek Hill? Jalen Waddle? Tua? My guy. What is going on today? Between Old Man River and Darcy and Laura, y'all need to go to the corner. Y'all need to go to the corner and collect your thoughts. And when you think you are sober enough to talk, then we can come over and have a conversation. But come on, man. Jonnu Smith is a franchise? Get out of here. Kush Master says Daniel Jones will win the Super Bowl and make the Giants look dumb like Barkley did. We're getting that very, very soon. What's up, man? Yep, go ahead. Yep, go ahead. Good night, guys. Love you. Alpha Rob says Davis's problem is he can't separate and drops the ball a lot. He had 5 games with 0 catches his last year in Buffalo. Yes, he did disappear a lot, but when Gabe Davis was on, Alpha Rob, Gabe Davis was the best receiver in Buffalo. When Gabe Davis was on, he was arguably a top 10 receiver in the NFL. Now, an elite receiver, a top 10 receiver, cannot go 5 games with 0 catches or a stretch of 2 or 3 games where he has like 2 or 3 catches, right? Like, you cannot have that. Now, I think if Gabe Davis were to come to Pittsburgh with DK, with that nice running game, with the solidified defense, he could easily become a top 10 receiver. A number 2 top 10 receiver, right? You need a QR. What does that even mean? Like a QR code? Like what? You need a Q-tip. Go down to your live free and push the live button because you're way far behind. And Gabe Davis is average. Gabe Davis is overage. But he has spurts. He has 5, 6, 7 game stretches where he is a top 10 receiver, potentially a top 5 receiver. His problem is once he starts getting those 3 or 4 games when he has 2 catches, 0 catches, and just disappears. That is what's tough, right? That is what's tough at the end of the day. Real Ball Talk with Billy Jack. What's up, man? He says Gabe Davis and Jonnu, send them both to Pittsburgh. # here we go. Can y'all afford that? Because Jonnu Smith, rumors is he's looking for $10, $12, $13 million a season. I don't know how true that is. Those are what I'm reading. Those are what I'm hearing in our Believe chat group. So if you guys do not know, I am a part of the Believe Sports Network. We have hundreds and hundreds of NFL shows, a lot with NFL players, former NFL players, and we talk daily. This is where we get our insiders information, right? And everything that I'm hearing out of Pittsburgh is that he's looking for 10, 12, 13, $14 million a season. Can the Steelers afford that? And then on top of that, bring in Gabe Davis. Because Gabe Davis did sign that 3-year, $200 some odd million, or was it $36 million a season, right? So Gabe Davis is probably going to be looking for that 20, 22, $25 million range as well. And then on top of that, you've got to have money for Aaron Rodgers still. Because we all know Aaron Rodgers is coming to Pittsburgh. Let's just call a spade, Willie Jack, I'm sorry. We all know Aaron Rodgers is coming to Pittsburgh. Whether you like it or not, he is coming. So pick your poison. We've seen what Pittsburgh can do when they get guys like Gabe Davis. Remember Martavius Bryant? I do not remember him, honestly. I remember the name, but I don't remember him playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This was probably before I really started to branch myself out beyond my team and the NFL realm. James Berlin says Gabe Davis best number 2. You can't count on him, which he would be a number 2 receiver. And I think that's why ultimately in Jacksonville, granted he did tear his meniscus for season-ending injury. But yeah, on most NFL teams, on the teams that he is looking at, he is a number 2 guy. And I think that's really he strives in that role. He could be a number 3 in Dallas. He's going to go visit Dallas too. But in Pittsburgh, he would be a number 2. He's visiting Dallas. I think he's visiting San Francisco as well. So obviously there's a market out there for Gabe Davis. Otherwise he wouldn't be doing this free agent franchise tour crap, right? But we will see. But guys, should the Pittsburgh Steelers go after Jonnu Smith legitimately or go after Gabe Davis? That is the question that we want to ask. Now, we've seen Darcy in here talking his shit. Darcy is a Detroit Lions fan, but guys, Frank Ragnow is officially retired from the NFL. He has reportedly told the Detroit Lions this week that he will no longer pursue his NFL dreams and he is retiring from the NFL. But the question that I want to ask about him, is this the retirement of Frank? Is this the first real crack in the Detroit Lions' rise? Or will the team keep pushing forward without missing a beat if Frank Ragnow actually does retire? With that being said, guys, there's big news coming out of Detroit. And it's an emotional run, right? After 7 seasons, 4 Pro Bowls, and 96 career starts, Frank Ragnow is hanging it up. The anchor of the Detroit Lions offensive line is officially announced his retirement on Monday on Instagram. And you could feel the weight of the decision in every word that he wrote. He said, and I quote, "I tried to convince myself that I'm feeling good, but I'm not. I have listened to my body, and this has been one of the hardest decisions of my life." Guys, that is real. That's raw. And honestly, that is the NFL. When you know, you know. Frank Ragnow played through a fractured throat and partially torn pec last season, and the most severe degree of turf toe that you can have. And somehow he still managed to be second-team All-Pro multiple times. And a Pro Bowler in 3 straight seasons. In fact, he didn't miss a single start the last year after week 4. And still went to battle for the Detroit Lions like nothing was wrong. But eventually, no matter how tough you are, your body crashes out. Your body cashes all of those checks. This is the kind of retirement that hits different. We're not talking about a 35-year-old aging out guy. Frank Ragnow is just 29 years old, guys. He's still playing at an elite level, but the injury stacked up and becoming something more than not even surgery could fix. In fact, he told the Detroit Free Press last season that his toe injury was so bad, surgery wouldn't help. He just had to navigate it for the rest of his career. Guys, that is brutal. Let's give credit to the Lions here, right? They gave him a $54 million extension when others might have hesitated. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell backed him, respected him, and now they got a huge hole to fill at the center of the line. And that brings us to the Tail Redledge, a second-round pick out of Georgia. A guard by trade, but now taking first team reps at center in OTAs. He's tough, he's physical, and if you played if you played on the Georgia line, you know that means they're battle tested. But replacing Frank, that's just not about technique. That's about leadership, consistency, and heart. Guys, the Lions have big goals this season. They have cleared the NFC North. They have made playoff no's. They got Hutch back healthy. They got the core on both sides of the ball, but this is the first real test of that locker room's resilience since they become contenders. There's no replacing a guy like Frank overnight. But guys, just to answer my original question, no. I do not think that this derails the Detroit Lions. Frank retirement is a blow. There's no doubt about it. But this team is built to last. Dan Campbell's got culture. Brad Holmes has drafted depth. And Radledge might be the next name to emerge. Detroit's not done. So guys, in the comments below, what do you guys think? Will the Detroit Lions take a step back without Frank? Or is this just another next man up moment for the Detroit Lions rising dynasty? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Remember, guys, we're live Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here at youtube.com/manhour. Now, this is a live interactive show, so comment down below and discuss your thoughts. Old Man River says, point and simple. The Detroit Lions have this mentality of next man up. You're right, old Man River. Last season they went through 24 guys on the were 100% saying right. But my opening speech was geared toward this. He is only 29 years old. I bet you once the preseason staying games start to hit, he'll get that little bit of itch. Once the second preseason game starts to hit, he'll get the itch a little bit more. Alpha Rob says, there are a lot of players that do not listen to his body. He did listen to his body because Father Time is undefeated and those body checks always get cashed. James says, tough hit for the Lions. He waited. I'm not for sure what you're saying there, James. Help me out. Real McCoy says, Frank sees the writing on the wall. Detroit is on the slide. There we go, Real McCoy. I've been waiting for somebody to say it. I've been waiting for somebody to be like, hey, you know what? The Detroit Lions did lose their offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson. They did lose their offensive coordinator in Aaron Glenn. People's contracts are starting to come up a little. Real ball talk with Willie Jack says they're definitely taking a step back. They lost both coordinators and now Frank. Remember the Eagles after losing the OC and DC in the same season. Willie Jack, we went from Super Bowl runner-up to almost polarizing video or quote voluntary. And no one's breaking the rules here. This month of the material, and let's just be honest. And the quarterback, every great receiver has an ego. This guy's a professional when the lights come on. The Patriots know that. Mike Vrabel knows it, and the fans know it. They just need to keep structure around him strong. They need that strong foundation and let football do the Diggs all in on the Patriots. All right, guys, I'm not 100% sure what's going on with the connection here. Trying to fix it. Go ahead and try to end that. Maybe that will help a little bit. We'll see where we at. That nearly instantly improved it, maybe. All right, I think we're back, guys. So I think we're back. Sorry about the little misstep. We should be good now. My apologies. Lucky for us, Spectrum is not at the new house at the new studio. Kyle Pitts still a cornerstone for the Atlanta Falcons off. Is he unhappy? Are they looking to trade him? But Raheem Morris shut that down and shut it down quickly. He said Kyle Pitts had a meeting, he's fully engaged, and his absence is strictly injury related. In fact, Raheem Morris used the word cautious multiple times. And when a coach repeats something like that, it usually means they're being very, very careful. Either because they are concerned or because this guy's future is up in the air. Guys, remember that Kyle Pitts is only 24 years old, but he has not been the same since his rookie year. That 2021 season, over 1,000-yard receiving. The first rookie tight end ever to hit that mark in 60 years. A Pro Bowl selection. He was supposed to be the unicorn, the next Travis Kelce, the guy who breaks the tight end mold. But since then, injuries and inconsistency. Just 602 yards and 4 touchdowns last season. And beyond that, he missed 7 games in 2022 with a torn MCL. The flashes are there, but the dominance, that physical takeover potential, it hasn't been consistent. And here's the pressure point. Kyle Pitts is entering the final year of his rookie deal. The Falcons have already picked up his 5th-year option, but there is no extension in place. That means in 2025 season is basically a prove-it year for Kyle Pitts. Either he bounces back or he crashes in. Or crashes out, I should say. Or the Falcons have start to make thinking life without him. Trade him, cut him, whatever. This is a team that just drafted Michael Penix Jr. and added Darnell Mooney, brought in B. John Robertson last year, and yes, Jonnu Smith is gone as well. That opens the door for Kyle Pitts, a guy, again, in this passing game, but only if he's healthy. Only if he's consistent, and only if this first injury doesn't linger. So, guys, is this a sign that the Falcons should be worried about? Honestly, yes and no. I do not think Pitts is done. Not even close. But I do think the clock is ticking. If this injury lingers into training camp, or if the production doesn't finally match his talent, then yeah, we'll be having a very different conversation about Kyle Pitts next season when he is in the Kansas City Chiefs red and yellow. So I'm going to leave it to you guys. Is Kyle Pitts still a game changer for Atlanta, or have the Falcons already seen the best of him? Hit the subscribe button, guys. Hit the like button. Remember, we are live Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time at youtube.com/manhour. This is a live interactive show, so comment down below and let me know. Let me know. But since we had a little mishap, we got to catch fade, we got to get caught back up, and we need to move into Overreaction Tuesday. All right, fam, it is time. Welcome to Overreaction Tuesday. For those of you new to this segment, let me break it down for you real quick. Here's the deal. I'm dropping a hot take. Yeah, a bold, in-your-face, did he just say that kind of statement. Something shaking up in the NFL world right now, and then we decide, Pigskin Pun is right here at youtube.com/manhour. Is it a wild overreaction or is Buck dead on? If it's too much, call it out. I'm talking hold up, slow your roll. Hey, that's way too far. Pull it back, baby, slow it down. But keep it real. Put some perspective on that madness. Or if it's legit, hop on the train. We running with it. And nah, Buck, that's not a real overreaction, guys. That's the truth and reality check you do not need to know. And here's why. So buckle up, guys, because we're throwing out some big takes and finding out if we're jumping in the gun or riding the hot train full speed ahead. Let's go, baby, because it's time for Overreaction Tuesday. All right, guys, so on the first Overreaction Tuesday, we have to go to the man, the myth, the legend, Justin freaking Fields. That's right, guys, the Jets' newest quarterback, Justin Fields, is taking the field, and people are hyped, and people are excited to see number 7 on the field in the green and white. But here's the question, guys. Here's the question. Is it an overreaction to believe that Justin Fields could take the Jets, yes, those Jets, to the playoffs in 2025? Maybe not even the playoffs, but a deep playoff run. Let's talk about it. Guys, Justin Fields is now the starting quarterback for the New York Football Jets. The buzz is in the building. Some fans are calling it a comeback story waiting to happen. Others are saying it's just a recycle project headed the same crash out landing we've seen before. But let me ask you this. Is it really crazy to think that Justin Fields will lead the Jets into the postseason? So guys, on Overreaction Tuesday, we take hot takes and put them to the test. And this is the one. And this is sizzling. Look at the facts. Justin Fields signed with the Jets on a 2-year, $40 million deal with $30 million guaranteed. That's just not a proven contract. That's a you are our guy contract. The Jets just didn't take a flyer on him. They cleared the runway. They believe. Now it's up to Justin Fields to show that the belief was worth it. Remember, guys, he went 4-2 in his starts with the Pittsburgh Steelers last season. Only 1 interception and 161 pass attempts. That's growth. That's efficiency. And while the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't fully lean into the design run game, he still flashed the mobility that made him so dangerous coming out of Ohio State. But here's where things get interesting. This might be the first time an NFL team is actually building around Justin Fields' strength. New offensive coordinator Tanner Exgren is coming over from Detroit, where he helped turn Jared Goff into a playoff winner. Now he's got Justin Fields, a guy with elite legs, a huge arm, and a chip on his shoulder size of MetLife Stadium. The Jets added rookie tackle Mabu in the first round to solidify the interior with center Josh Myers. And oh yeah, they still have Garrett Wilson. And he is still that guy. Fields has never had a weapon like him before in the NFL, let alone a line built to keep him upright. Now, sure, the numbers are not perfect. Fields takes sacks nearly at 12% of his dropbacks over his career. That is a drive killer. And his success rate as a passer, 24th out of 25 qualified quarterbacks over the last 4 seasons. That's not great. But you know what? Neither was Jared Goff before Ben Johnson got his hands on him. The reality is, Justin Fields doesn't need to become Josh Allen overnight. He just needs to be efficient, avoid turnovers, and hit those big plays when the opportunity is there. Something he has shown flashes of doing while the system supports him. So, is it an overreaction, guys, to say that Justin Fields will lead the Jets to the playoffs? I am saying no. It is not an overreaction. Absolutely not. The reason people believe in the redemption stories like this is because they happen. Justin Fields finally has the structure, the weapons, and the support. If it's going to happen anywhere, it's going to happen right here, right now in New York. So, guys, let's get to the comments. What do you think? Will Justin Fields finally rise and take the Jets to the postseason, or just another false dawn in Gotham? Guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this with a couple friends. Let's get into the comments. Old Man River says, we have seen the best of him. What? We've seen the best of... What? We have not seen the best of Justin Fields. Justin Fields has the ability to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. You give Justin Fields just a little bit of time, 3 seconds of time, Garrett Wilson to the moon, baby. To the moon. And Alpha Rob says, Buck, slow it down, baby. This is an overreaction, Buck, says Alpha Rob. Justin Fields is garbage. Alpha Rob? You have been on Justin Fields garbage for the last at least few months, if not the last few years. And I'm starting to not believe that you are a Justin Fields fan. Alpha Rob says he still can't read the defense. He can read the defense. So that was Justin Fields' biggest knock coming out of Ohio State. You can't read a defense. You can't read a defense. When you have a read open, you hit the guy. In Chicago, he legit had under 2.5 seconds every time he dropped back. How can you read a defense in 2.5 seconds? Tell me that. Even the elite of the elite quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, etc., they need at least 3 seconds. They need a little bit of time. Real ball talk. Willie Jack says, no way. The AFC is too deep. Not win the division over Buffalo and likely finish behind the Ravens, Bengals, and the Broncos and Chargers in the wild card race. Willie Jack, the AFC is very, very deep. They are top heavy, and then a group of teams that are just not their average, right? your Broncos, your Chargers, your Steelers, your Bengals, your Jaguars, Colts, Texans, right? Those teams, right? You do have your elites, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, but everybody else is average. With that being said, the Jets have a favorable schedule this season. The Jets have a favorable schedule this season. They are not playing an elite first place schedule. They are not playing an elite third place schedule, second place schedule. They've been a fourth place team. Now, yes, they did finish third in the AFC West last season. And yes, their season does start off a little bit tough when you play the Bills, the Buccaneers, and the Cowboys. But once you get beyond that, you're playing the Saints, the Browns, the Patriots, the Falcons, the Jaguars, all very, very winnable games. 9 wins get you into the playoffs in the AFC. 11 wins wins you the AFC East. Old Man River says, this is overreaction, but the Jets are a 500 ball club. And you are correct. When I first did the way too early Jets schedule, I had them as a 7-win team, I do believe. I have to go back and look. But yes, I had them as a below 500 team. But watching OTAs, watching practice, watching Justin Fields talk to the media, Justin Fields got me excited. And I'm not even a Jets fan. Jets fans should be excited. Jets fans should be ecstatic. And when August comes and we break this down again, the Jets will probably be in the playoffs in my way too early playoff picture. I'm just saying. Willie Jack says, I think he may redeem himself, but no way the Jets make the playoffs. Slow it down, baby! Damn! So when we look at the AFC playoff picture, get down, Birdie. My dog wants a cuddle. She's not a lap dog. She's an 80-pound beast. When you look at the AFC, the winners of the East will be the Buffalo Bills. Get down, girl. The winners of the West will be the Chiefs. The winners of the North will be the Ravens. The South is up for grabs. So whoever wins the South, whether it's the Jaguars, Colts, or Texans, right? They will get a playoff berth. They won't get a wild card game. The Broncos are going to take a step back. The Chargers are still a 10, 11 win team. But beyond that, seeds 6 and 7 are wide open. The Broncos are going to fall off. The Bengals will not be good. The Steelers they're going to be in the race because they will be a 500 team. But really, it is kind of open. And I'm looking forward to the rest of OTAs, watching practices, watching mini camps, and watching a couple preseason games before we do this breakdown again. But we'll see. Alfarad says, but I'm happy the Jets signed him because that's 2 automatic wins every season for the Buffalo Bills. Slow it down. Slow it down, dog. Slow it down. Ay. But we need to move on. Title segment of the show, Daniel Jones. Guys, is it an overreaction to say that Daniel Jones, yes, that Daniel Jones, the same one that got released from the New York Giants, the same one that did not get signed by the Minnesota Vikings at the end of this season, last season, will Daniel Jones, guys, start more games than Anthony Richardson this season? So that is the overreaction, guys. I am saying that Daniel Jones will start more games for the Indianapolis Colts than Anthony Richardson in 2025. Let's dive into it. It's Overreaction Tuesday, and today we're talking about the bold look quarterbacks off season. Now, that's not a veteran backup money. That's we might need you soon type of money. And when you look at how things have played out last season with this may not be such a wild take as it sounds. Guys, let's start with Anthony Richardson. He was the 4th overall pick just 2 seasons ago. A physical freak with a cannon of an arm and off-the-charts athleticism, but none of that matters if you can't hit open receivers. And last season, his adjusted 47.7% completion percentage was literally the worst in the NFL for a quarterback with 200-plus pass attempts. That's just not bad. That is historically bad. And it wasn't just the inaccuracy. He got benched for Joe Flacco at one point, hell, even twice. He even asked out of a game. On third and short, when they needed him, they needed to beat the Texans. He tapped himself out. I don't care how athletic you are. When the confidence is shaky and the results are shaky, you do not get a long leash. Meanwhile, Daniel Jones didn't even take a snap in Minnesota after being cut by the New York Football Giants. But now, the opportunity in Indy is wide open. Coach Shane Steichen has an offense that could actually suit Daniel Jones. RPOs, quick rhythm throws, and a running game led by Jonathan Taylor that finished the 2024 season on fire. Now, let's be clear. Daniel Jones has his flaws. He's not a deep ball guy. He has injury issues, and he has been sack prone when forced to sit in the pocket. But in rhythm, he can run the system. And unlike in New York, there's the offensive line was a disaster. The Colts almost offered an upgrade, though it's far from elite. They lost Ryan Kelly and Will Fries, and besides rookie Jalen Travis, they didn't add much up front. But if Richardson keeps missing reads, getting hurt, and flat out losing games, how long until the Colts turn to the guy with playoff experience, who at least knows how to operate a pro offense? Guys, I will say this. The Colts didn't invest $14 million in Daniel Jones just to sit on the sidelines and smile. So the question is, guys, is it an overreaction to say that Daniel Jones will start more games than Anthony Richardson in 2025? I'm saying no. It is 100% fact. It is going to happen. The reason people believe in these kind of quarterbacks, the kinds of these quarterback switches, is because they happen. Richardson is unstable. Jones is experienced. And when a team has playoff hopes, they're going to go with the guy who can deliver consistent results, even if it isn't flashy. So what do you think? Is Daniel Jones reclaims his reputation, or will Anthony Richardson finally put it all together in Indy? Let me know. Old Man River says, agree. Daniel Jones starts over Anthony Richardson. Old Man River, are we saying week 1? Does it happen week 1? Or is it more of a week 5, 6 after the bye week type of situation? Because honestly, watching OTAs, they're splitting reps. Watching film rooms, Daniel Jones is taking the charge as the quarterback 1 in the film rooms. I have a connection up there in Indy, a inside source, you can say. He's the equipment manager. He's saying Daniel Jones is walking around with his chest out, acting like he's QB1. Anthony Richardson is just falling in line. I would not be shocked if Daniel Jones does start week 1. Alpha Rob says Jones is fine as long as he's not running alone on an open field. If you guys do not know, Daniel Jones had an 80-yard run untouched, tripped over the 20-yard line. Was it 20 line? He tripped over the midfield line. He got tackled for a 10-yard gain. That was tough. That was about, 3-4 years ago. But Alpha Rob says, I think they split starts. He says. I think they both get 8. They both get 8 and insert Joe Flacco after he gets cut by the Cleveland Browns. We will see. We'll see. But let's move on to Davante Adams. Guys, Davante Adams signed with the LA Rams this offseason. So I was all about it. I was on board. I was loving me some LA Rams. Super Bowl caliber team, LA Rams. So guys, is it an overreaction to say that Davante Adams, 32-year-old, new team, new quarterback, is the biggest X factor in the entire 2025 NFL season? Meaning he is the end-all, be-all, everybody in the NFC. If Davante Adams does well, the rest of the NFC sucks because the Rams are on top of the world. But if Davante Adams sucks, the Rams suck. Let's talk about it. Guys, this is the Overreaction Tuesday where we take the hot takes and reactions are real. And today we're putting a gold jacket level name right in the spotlight. Davante Adams. Now look, we all know Adams isn't in his prime anymore. He turned 33 years old in December, but don't let the number fool you. This is not a typical wide receiver. This isn't your typical wide receiver hitting a decline either. This is a future Hall of Famer stepping into the best offensive situation he has had since leaving Green Bay. Think about it. Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, Puka, pulling top coverage. And for the first time in years, Adams won't be double teamed every snap. Guys, the Rams just didn't add a name. They gave themselves a legit difference maker to tilt the field in his return to even at 85% of his all-pro self. Now let's look at the numbers. In 2024, he posted 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, despite splitting time with the Raiders. An absolute disaster that was the New York Jets offense. He averaged 2.1 yards per route run, better than his previous year in Vegas. And let's not forget that monster 198-yard game when he had against Jacksonville Jaguars, where he reminded everyone that he's still that dude. But on the flip side, there are still real concerns. That catch score metric, he ranked 153rd out of 159 receivers last season. That's not good. There's no long-term chemistry with Matthew Stafford either. And we've seen the Rams swing and miss with receivers not named Kupp or Puka from the last few seasons. From Watkins to Cook to Allen Robinson, outside of OBJ's Super Bowl run, that role has been cursed in LA. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room either, the age cliff. Not every vet is Derrick Henry. And history says most wide receivers don't bounce back at 33, no matter how talented you are. But here's the thing. We're not asking Davante Adams to be the best receiver in the league. We're asking him to be the X factor. The one guy who, if he hits, changes the ceiling of the entire Rams offense. He doesn't need 1,500 yards. He doesn't need 1,000 yards. Hell, he only needs 800 yards. He just needs to win those crucial one-on-ones. When you got a quarterback like Matthew Stafford who trusts his vets, when you got Sean McVay calling the plays to scheme him open, and when you got a defense king on Puka in the run game, Davante Adams is going to feast. So, is it an overreaction, guys, to call Davante Adams the biggest X factor in 2025? Adam has to be. All Adams has to do is not beat D-Hop. Had to bring up DeAndre Hopkins, didn't you, Alpha Rob? You had to bring up D-Hop, as I'm still suffering here watching him drop a ball in the Super Bowl that cost us the Super Bowl. Yeah, because the one pass dropped the Super Bowl. Come on, man. Come on, Buck. Come on, Buck. Get down, birdie girl. So, guys, this is Birdie. This is my girl. She wants to cuddle. She's ready for bed. Yeah, I love you, baby girl. But it's not time for bed. Our segment is, as we always say, is straight up, or is it just the usual pre-draft smoke and mirrors? Guys, let's break it down. Deion Sanders, coach prime isn't just a Hall of Famer. He's also reported or up after free agent up to a meeting with Sean, like headphones on. Come on now. Now, Asante Samuel, guys, is a part of the Believe Sports Network. We did talk to him personally and honestly leveled up an executive. If you want a player to his stock to drive up and force somebody to easily else bite early, let a positive leak, right? It's all a part of the game. We've seen it before. Dan Marino, Aaron Rodgers, Tom formula that Brady used when he went 199th overall. And guess what? Number Shedeur Sanders wearing is 12. So you better believe he's leaning into that underdog mentality. But guys, right now, Shedeur Sanders enters the quarterback room with Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel. Shows out. So what do you guys think? Do you number day 3 on overall pick? Fans everywhere wondering one thing. It occurs has been whispers like an NFL ghost story drops or worse, they get nobody's